Now, of course, if you're kind of experimenting with your design, maybe I'll do this, do something different. You may not want to pin them in really deep until you really know where you want your seam to go.
When you said flathead pins, that means just no ball on the
No
end?
ball on the end, because then they can really kind of go in deep. Because you may want to experiment for a little bit, you know, you may be making a line that keeps going down to there or something. You may want to play around with it. Then you need to make sure you have enough pins in there to actually keep the tape in place, because if the tape moves around on you, it's not helping you very much.
Judy, what side of the tape are you using?
Right now I'm using this inside. And it's that inside edge of the tape that is right here at this point. Okay? And then when you start draping, you would use that tape as a guide, and you would feel for that inner edge or drape to that. Okay. Now here's what's very important when you do drape using tape, and again I'm not suggesting you have to for this assignment at all, but when you do drape using tape, this tape is 1/4 of an inch wide. It's kind of hard to manage anything that's less than 1/4 of an inch wide when it's twill tape. Again, what you have to do is find a side of the tape that you're using as your seam line. So if I've decided that this side of the tape right here, this inner edge, is going to be my seam line, then I have to be consistent about that. And I drape this piece to this side of the tape, and I drape this piece also to this side of the tape. Very important, don't drape this piece to this side and this piece to this side. Everything's going to be 1/4 of an inch too small, which will mean 1/2 an inch when you double it across the front. So it's important to pick a side and be consistent. If it's going this way, pick top or bottom. You know, just be consistent as to which side of the tape you're choosing. And then you actually drape over the tape when you get there. So be careful about that. So if you tape a design, you play with it first, put it up there before you start draping. Okay? Okay. Again, you may not want to do that this time, since anything you tape today you'd have to take off at the end of class. So if you want to play with the tape for this assignment, you may want to wait to start it till next week, but you will have an opportunity to drape with taping later this semester.
Can you buy this kind of tape?
Oh yeah, it's just 1/4 inch twill tape. You can buy it in little packets, you know, just at any fabric store. You can buy it in rolls like this at online, or you know, at any places like sewtrue.com. That's, you know.
That's using elastic.
Well, it's bulky, and
Oh, okay.
it's, yeah, I mean, it's fine if you're going this way, you tie it around, but this is just easier to move and manipulate and make a corner, and so the elastic would be a little thicker. It might be hard to kind of keep flat. All right. Today's assignment, though, is to create a, princess bodice. We'll call it a princess bodice. But what it really is a fitted bodice, one last fitted bodice, I promise it's the last one, where you are using style lines, new seam lines, to create your fit. Okay? In your textbook, she will show you the simplest, easiest one to do, which is the shoulder princess. Now the shoulder princess is very easy because the seams are right there. You don't need to tape it, you don't need to do anything. The parameters are right there on the dress form for you. If you want to do a shoulder princess, that's fine with me. Okay? I'm going to drape an armhole princess for you to show you how that would work. It's the second common princess seam design. If you would like to drape that one, that's fine also. You really won't need to tape it. I'll show you how you can do it without taping. However, if you want to get creative and make, you know, an interesting design that adds a seam which crosses over the bust point, but isn't your classic, shoulder or armhole princess, that's okay with me too. So if you wanna design a princess bodice, even though yes, technically we might not call it princess, if it's going this way, for instance, or whatever. But, as long as it's a fitted bodice where the seam is doing the shaping and nothing else, so in other words, your style line crosses the bust point in some way or another, then it will be acceptable for this assignment. So it can be anything from the two classic ones to one that you design and invent. Okay? Yes?
If you have one that's going horizontal, do you end up with other darts, or does that really take?
Again, as long as it crosses over the bust point, you will not need any other darts.
Okay.
It may not, however, be the most flattering place to put it. Often when you put it across, we'll do things like maybe, bring this down like this or something. So it kind of breaks the line up a little bit, cause that tends to make the bust, if you're busty anyway, that's gonna just really, look, there's that line right there, my biggest part. However, in terms of the effectiveness of shaping the bust, yes, it will work. As long as it crosses the bust point. Remember, that doesn't mean down here or over here. Darts and things, yes, we can release them to allow the fullness to go over the bust, as we did last week. But seams, they've gotta go over it, or else that excess will end up, you'll know if it's working.
Right.
Because you'll end up with a little, if it's a tiny bit that can ease, that's fine, but, if you end up with a dart or a need for big gathers, your design line is too far away from the bust point. Okay?
Can you do something asymmetrical?
If you want to, sure, it's just twice as much draping, depends upon how much time you have, because you have to do a back also.
Today. You want us to do
Well,
that?
the assignment will be back and front, and you get to work on it next week also, but, so yes, the assignment will be both
But
front
we
and
have to
back.
take it off at the end of today, and then redo it next week.
So,
Right.
just
But
to,
yes, you can.
just to make sure I understand the assignment, the
Sure.
assignment is that we're doing a front and a back, fitted front, fitted back with princess seam or bust across seams.
Right.
So maybe
Style.
we're
Well, let's just
using
call
one-
it, let's just call it princess seam. We'll call it any style line that crosses the bust point, or is a shaping style line. For abbreviation purpose, we'll call it a princess seam. So, yes,
And
any
the-
princess seam bodice, front and back.
And the final product that you want is to see it pinned onto the,
All of our assignments, that's how we do,
okay,
yes.
so not like
that's
last
right.
week, okay.
No, last week I told you it was a
One-time
aberration.
shot, alright.
Well, it's not, the midterm will be a little similar to that too, but, yeah, last week was an aberration.
What is the midterm? Is it gonna be draping or is it gonna be written or?
Oh, wouldn't you like to know?
Yeah, I would.
No, I'm not telling you.
Oh,
No, I am. I'm telling you a little bit. It's a surprise though. It's coming up, isn't it? October, is it next week?
No, week after
2
that.
weeks.
2
Week
weeks.
after, okay, good. So we'll have next week to finish this up and in fact, use that as a goal because I really don't like you to get too backlogged in this class. So try to have all of your assignments caught up by the midterm. So if there's anything else that you have that's outstanding, try to get it caught up by the midterm.
Do you want paper
I'm
on?
gonna tell you. It's all right. What's going to happen with the midterm, first of all, getting back to you, it is going to be a draping assignment, it's not a written assignment, it's not an exam.